Welcome back to Ellis Park, and the anthems have begun, so let's just hear the anthems. We're on New Zealand's at the moment. Sports anthem ringing out around Ellis Park. Let's join the commentators, Nigel Carr, Clive Norling and first Chris Ray.
The atmosphere absolutely electrifying here. The New Zealanders third seeds by virtue of what they did in the last World Cup, and Ireland having never beaten the All Blacks in 12 matches. And there's one ritual still to be performed, the haka. It's to be led by Jamie Joseph, the All Black flanker. The Irish side lining up in a courteous line on the halfway line. Well, I don't know what it does to the opposition, but it puts the shivers at me. Let's now have a look at the teams. And there's the Irish side. Understandably, they've gone for as much experience as they can muster. Eric Elwood and Michael Bradley have been recalled at halfback, as much for the defensive qualities as for their control in this crucial area. Elwood's goal-kicking accuracy will also be important. Up front, an interesting combination of bulk and mobility. Dennis McBride and David Corkery, both specialist open sides, and between them, the number 8, Paddy Johns, whose height will be vital. The All Blacks have looked so impressive in the training, and they're led out today for the 24th consecutive time by Sean Fitzpatrick, winning his 64th cap, and that makes him New Zealand's most capped player. Like Ireland, they've gone for a blend of muscular power and pace, Josh Cronfield and Jamie Joseph on the flanks, but for sheer size and brute strength, none can match the All Blacks wing. Jonah Lomu, 18 stone, the heaviest in the side and also the fastest, so we should see him early on in the action. And then at fly half, Andrew Mertens, I think the All Blacks feel that they've at last found a successor to the great Grant Fox. The referee this evening is Wayne Eriksson from Australia, 36 years of age, taking charge of his 4th international. His last one was with the All Blacks against Canada. And a piece of up-to-date news, which I must get in before the kick-off: Will Carling, the England captain, will definitely miss the next match against Italy because of an ankle and knee injury. Well, here at Ellis Park, we're all set as Andrew Mertens, winning his 2nd cap, gets the play started. He kicks deep down to the Irish 22, taken confidently by Michael Bradley inside his 22. That's an interesting variation. The All Blacks tend to go for the short kick and try and work the ball back, but this time straight down into Irish territory. Bradley hasn't found touch. Glenn Osborne there. Was it a knock forward? He's been given the benefit of the doubt. He kicks down to his opposite number, Staples, and Staples then thinks that he finds a gap, and this is aerial ping-pong at the moment. It's Little. Now to Jeff Wilson and Andrew Mertens, and he kicks aimlessly downfield. Well, not a terribly positive start. And there's Eric Elwood. He kicks it back. Eventually, Jamie Joseph decides to run. He's had enough of this, quite right. He holds it up. Taken by the Irish. Stay up on your feet. The Irish going to ground. So right away, Wayne Eriksson making it absolutely clear to the players that he's not going to have them scrabbling about on the ground. And so the first penalty taken by Mertens. And he's betraying signs of early nerves to Staples. Staples launches another mighty howitzer down to the All Black line, and Glenn Osborne goes back, and I think we'll try nothing fancy from there. So a nervous start on both sides, and Andrew Mertens just probably being told to settle things down. He's taking his time. Well, he certainly didn't settle things down at all. That was not the right option to take. And McBride in there so quickly. And not forward from Ireland, so it'll be a scrummage down in midfield. And Mertens, just in his second international, just needs to steady things down for the All Blacks. This will suit Ireland. That's a good scrummage. Taken by Bishop quickly. And that's a better kick. Nigel?
Well, as you say, Chris, it's been a very nervous start from both sides. The forwards trotting up and down the pitch after those rather speculative kicks from both sides. Ireland, I think, will be concerned that the scrummage there, that the All Blacks look very, very solid, and Bishop had a great long pass back to his out half.
So the first line out, that's Sir Jones. Behind him, Mike Brewer, playing in his first World Cup after 3 attempts. Third time lucky. He was injured for 87 at 91. And again, Wayne Eriksson making sure that there's a gap between the two. How long that'll last, I don't know. Oh, there goes Fulshire. Fine take by him. Good control play by Ireland. Up to the halfway line. Bradley waits. Now it's back for him. To Elwood. Elwood. That's aimed at Jeff Wilson. Outside his 22. It's a perfect kick. Underneath him is Gagan. He uproots him. Marvellous play by Ireland. Oh, but he was taken in the air. Jeff Wilson taken in the air. And that's against the law. Whistle goes. New Zealand trying for the quick one, but Ireland not back 5, not back 10, so they'll have to get back. But that was a beautifully placed Gary Owen from Eric Elwood. Absolutely perfect. And Mertens now with the penalty.
Yes, the player tackle there was actually stuck straight up in the air. He's off the ground, as you can see, and the opponents are not allowed to make contact until they're on the floor. But didn't Ireland show a bit of fire at that tackle?
Absolutely pinpoint accuracy of Elwood's kick too. So a very encouraging start this for Ireland.
Steve,
trick throw.
Steve.
Taken through now by the All Blacks. Untidy stuff, taken away by Craig Dow. Now to Jamie Joseph. Joseph down the short side, trying to find Jeff Wilson. But this is not quite the controlled play that the All Blacks have been looking for early on. They'd hoped to hit this match running. Up to the 22. That's Gary Halpin, Jamie Joseph, blindside flank. And Terry Kingston, the Irish captain, with the up to the middle. Palm back by Jones. But inside arm, so you're not allowed to do that. You either have to take it with both hands or swat it back with the outside. But the ruling is that if you go up with both hands and swat it back, it'll be deemed to have been done with the inside arm. So the referee very quickly onto it. And that again is a lovely kick by Elwood, and that's why he's back in the Irish side, showing such control in the early stages. A beautiful kicker of the ball. That's up to the halfway line now. There was the palm back from Larson, and that's where they infringed. Fitzpatrick. Up there, two-handed goes Ian Jones, one of the finest line-out experts in the game, taken by Larson. The support now from Bishop, but Bishop is dragged by Popplewell. Oh, this is difficult ball, awful ball for Wilson. He's upended. Now the Irish want it, if only they can get it now, but they've gone over onto the ground. And Wayne Eriksson, Clive, is not going to have any nonsense, is he? So the kick to touch, and penalty it was, so it's Fitzpatrick's throw. But look at that, again ruffling the All Blacks early on. Jones palms back with Larson's help, only into touch, and this is an area where Ireland might be looking to profit, because the All Blacks line out looks a little bit threadbare, with Ian Jones now coming up to the front. Now he goes back into the number 4 position. But taken by Paddy Jones. Now Bradley, and he's seen a lot of space down there. That could bounce very well for Ireland. It's going to be difficult in any way for Osborne. Gagan was up so quickly, and what a beautiful kick from Bradley.
It was a beautifully judged kick there, and the early indications are that Ireland might be finding difficulty in the set-piece play. They've now started to bring the variations in the line-out. They won that line-out, came back to Bradley, and he put a beautifully placed chip into the corner to Gagan. Gagan just too close to the line to take advantage of it.
Well, this is a most encouraging start for Ireland. The All Blacks not being able to gain any control there at all. Lifting and a penalty. It's a free kick. So it was lifting and a free kick to Ireland. What are they going to do here? A marvellous attacking opportunity this. And Terry Kingston having a word with his forwards. A set move involving the forwards. They're on the charge now. Fulcher up there, but it goes to Halpin. Halpin's over, and Halpin is over for the try. And what a moment for this man Halpin. Who would have believed it? His 9th cap and his very first try for Ireland. And has he ever scored a better or a more important one in his career?
Indeed. What a brave decision it was, Chris, to go for that. Many skippers in that sort of position, I'm sure, would have gone for the 3 points. Terry Kingston chose to go for the 7. They've been rewarded with 5. Now it's up to Eric Elwood to put over what looks like a fairly straightforward kick. But it's a great start for Ireland. They seem to be under pressure in the scrums. Ian Jones is magnificent in the line-out, and Ireland are going to have to ring the changes in the line-out. And really what they want to try and do is give poor ball all the time to the All Blacks. They want to push through all the time, pressurise them, harry them, scrab them to the ground, and they've been rewarded by that. Great try, great start.
Which is exactly what they've done. They've disrupted the All Blacks to the extent we've hardly seen them in the game. It's been all Ireland. They're thoroughly worth this lead. Now, here's Elwood. Oh, straight and true, another 2 points, and what a start for Ireland. 7 points to 0. So Eric Elwood has done the business, and here it is again. The All Blacks thought it was for that band of forwards, but it was wider out to Halpin, and Halpin was over with Paddy Jones. So that will have given Ireland all the encouragement they need, and it'll certainly test the mettle of the All Blacks now. They've won a penalty, playing the man without the ball. Fitzpatrick tackled without the ball, so it's given Ireland, the All Blacks a chance perhaps to go for goal through Andrew Mertens, and that's exactly what he's doing. Created a world record in his first appearance for Ireland, 28 points against Canada, and the All Blacks immediately thought they'd found a successor to Fox.
Well, this is it. This is a question, really. Will he be a successor to Fox? This is an important kick for him. It's unfortunate from Ireland's point of view, and how often we see it after somebody actually scoring, then they concede an opportunity.
So Mertens just 22 years of age. Very important kick this. Just to try and settle the All Blacks and himself. a long way out. He's got a good contact. Is it straight? It is. There was never any doubt about that. That was a lovely kick from Andrew Mertens. And so, as Nigel Carr was saying, it's amazing how often it happens. Immediately one side scores, the other comes back. And that was just the response that the All Blacks wanted. So, 7 points to 3. And Elwood just having a quiet word there with Brendan Mullen and Jonathan Bell, while there's some treatment off the field. I don't know what it is, but
I see Kerry Kingston's actually getting his shorts changed at the moment. But it's an important point now to concentrate on the task ahead. That quiet period after the try, Ireland must again lift the pace. It's really controlled aggression we want to see when the New Zealanders have possession.
So Elwood, that's a lovely looking kick right on the 10-metre line. It's fallen for Terry Kingston. The Irish forwards are in again. Elwood, the high kick, aimed for Glenn Osborne. Oh, it's a grand, lovely kick. It's fallen back for the Irish if they can profit from this. But again, I think the Irish penalised for playing the man without the ball. And Glenn Osborne in quite a bit of trouble there, and those up and unders from Elwood are pinpoint accuracy. You see the trouble that Elwood had there.
Yes, probably the right decision on each occasion, but I think there were marginal decisions for both those up and unders. And the first time I think Gagan actually slowed a little until the man actually practically hit the ground. Now Jonathan Bell's been injured. I believe he was going for the ball on that occasion.
It looks to me as if it's a dislocated finger. But Maurice Field, in the meanwhile, is coming on. And unless it's a blood injury, that means that Jonathan Bell will take no further part in the game. And the Bell has looked so sharp and enthusiastic in training. So Fitzpatrick, and that's Cronfeld with the headgear, taken by Corkery, barging in the line out. The Irish giving away just a few penalties at very crucial times and in important positions. They must be careful with their discipline. So it's a lovely kick now down to the 22. And welcome to the Welsh side, I understand, are watching this. It'll be of great interest to them. And certainly the start that Ireland have made great encouragement to other sides, because the All Blacks have been more and more favoured during the weeks of training. Taken by Francis on the 22 to Bradley. Elwood again clears. He didn't have much time, but he did it beautifully. And these kicks really must be so heartening to his forwards.
Yes, it was a crucial line-out take by Neil Francis. He's going to be an important figure for the Irish, helping too in the scrummage. It's important that both these men give a great contribution. Francis has the talent, and I want to see him actually do it. He started well, and they really must concentrate and keep it going.
Well, again, difficult ball for Batchuk, but he cleared it up well. Too Little. Little going for a charge in midfield. He has Cronfeld with him. And away it comes now. The All Blacks up to the 10-metre line. Now it's back, still the All Blacks have it, to Mertens. Mertens the cut-out pass to Little kicking for Jeff Wilson. Gagan comes across. A difficult bounce for Gagan and for Staples, they both make a mess of it. Jeff Wilson is in there, so too is Cronfeld. Now comes Bishop. The All Blacks desperately wanting this one back because they have men out if they can work it back. The whistle goes, the penalty. The Irish coming over the top, holding the ball and preventing the All Blacks from getting it.
Yes, and on that occasion, Ireland didn't have much choice really, Chris. The Blacks suddenly lifted the game by at least 2 gears to get down to that pitch, and it was unlucky with a wicked bounce of the ball, which left Gagan and Staples floundering, basically.
It was a very well-placed kick by Mertens, and the All Blacks suddenly, as you say, Clive, were across the field in numbers and had lifted their game. And this, of course, is always the danger with them. They always have another gear to provide. And here we see the problem that both Gagan and Staples had. It was Cronfeld who led the charge. The open side from Otago, who played so well against the British Lions 2 years ago in the provincial match. With him was Dowd, and that really was where the All Blacks were able to work the ball out to Mertens. So, successful with one penalty. Has he got that one? No, straight again. He certainly seems to be kicking the ball with great precision, Andrew Mertens. And so 28 points in his first international, and he's already collected 6 here. And that has closed the gap to the 1 point, Ireland leading by 7 points to 6.
Yes, Mertens obviously is a very cool, calm customer. He converted that kick easily.
That was quick thinking by Elwood. The All Blacks caught unaware. It's very difficult to catch the All Blacks unawares like that, but so swiftly spotted that Lomu had come in from that left wing and left a huge gap, and that has taken Ireland to within 10 metres of the All Blacks line. So right away, Ireland in an attacking position. Sean Fitzpatrick, his country's most capped player, and there's Dowd, an auxiliary jumper at the front. He's a big man for a prop. It goes up to the middle. Up there goes Jones. Difficult ball for Bishop. Bishop clears. Mertens can't find touch, but the ball bounced awkwardly for Richard Wallace. Now picked up by Stiff. Up to the halfway line he comes. It's high. Is it far enough? Well, the Irish are in there again in numbers, and they come forward again. Little ball laid back for Bradley. Bradley to Elwood. Elwood has Gagan. Now what's Gagan going to do? Up over the 22. He tries to find support. Gets it from Popplewell. Popplewell charges. He's not got much support behind him. Now it comes in from Fulcher. Halpin's there too. And again the whistle has gone, preventing the ball from coming. First man down holding the ball, and Wayne Erickson saying that Ireland must release the ball. The Irish don't like it, but Mertens meanwhile has coolly cleared the danger. But Ireland at this stage, Nigel, not afraid to take the game to the All Blacks.
No, certainly they were running that ball. Unfortunately, the pass out to Gagan was just somewhat behind him. That slowed up his momentum and meant that we had to try and regroup. Popplewell, who's had some rampaging runs in the green and the red shirt of the British Lions, took that on. We'll be looking much more of that type of thing from him.
But the All Blacks at this stage, it must be said, looking fairly ordinary. That ball goes up to the middle again, taken by Larson. Now here's a bit of muscular power from the All Blacks. The kick from Bishop for Staples. In there is Jeff Wilson, and spectacularly upended, and across comes Maurice Field. And Wilson reckless to the point of personal injury there, but he was determined to get that ball, and that's a little bit of that spirit the All Blacks need. The scrummage inside the Irish 22, so danger here for the Irish. The All Blacks scrummage very low. Bradley, difficult ball. Oh, Elwood in trouble, but he's in real trouble now. He's taken by the All Blacks. They'll be trying to work it back if they can, but it's come back on the Irish side. Now Wilson. And it's Osborne going for the drop goal. Has he got it? No, just off to the left of the posts. But danger threatening from all parts of the field from the All Blacks as they just start to raise the tempo a little bit and put Ireland under terrible pressure close to their own line, but they cleared it well.
Yes, it all came from a rather quick heel that was somewhat uncontrolled, putting Elwood initially under pressure. He was caught. Corkery managed to clear, but the kick was somewhat misdirected. Ireland fortunate on that occasion that in fact the All Blacks didn't take the lead for the first time in the match.
There's an injury at the moment, I think, to the hero of the moment, Gary Halpin. So a reminder that Jonathan Bell has had to go off with what looked very much like a dislocated finger. Maurice Field on. Now here again is the spectacular dive and leap by Jeff Wilson. He lost control of the ball there, and it was from that ensuing scrummage, that the All Blacks did manage to put pressure on Ireland.
But you just get the feeling, Chris, that the All Blacks have really lifted their game here now. Ireland started with a bang, and it was Irish fervour that's actually put them into the lead. But we've seen the Blacks now starting to take control, and I think that there'll be further control as this game goes on.
So it's going to be a dropout to Ireland. Eric Elwood looked very sharp so far in all that he's done. Very composed, very cool, and a great strategist. Again, another lovely dropout just for his forwards. Paddy Johns wasn't quite able to get up to it, but well placed for his forwards. That's Blair Larson jumping at the front for them. Neil Francis, so much expected of him this evening for Ireland. He's had so many good games for them. But that's taken almost unhampered by Jones. Not straight. And that's why it was unhampered. There's Joseph. But that All Blacks pack is almost noses to the ground. Their scrummage is so low. But they're looking most impressive in this area. Bradley Fields. But the scrummage slews round. And Ireland penalised for lifting up in the front row, so it's a free kick. And Wayne Eriksson demanding that Ireland get back 10. Now, what have the All Blacks got on here? They've got this little phalanx of forwards in front of Bishop, and he's running into midfield now with the long pass to Little taken out though, but again Bishop across so quickly. Here is Jonah Lomu now, 18 stone of him, thundering up over the 22. Lomu out to Little's over for the try. It's going to be the first try for the All Blacks, and that was the first we've seen of the mighty Jonah Lomu. And what have we got? We've got a foot in touch. It's not a try. Well, the crowd thought, and we all thought it was a try, but there was a foot in touch from Little. So it's not a try, but it's taken the All Blacks to within a couple metres of the line. And there we see, let's have a look. The touch judge is tracking him all the way, and he took his time, but the flag went up. Now then, up goes Joseph, palms back for Bishop. Away comes Francis. But jumping up, levering up at the line out, and the crowd, of course, annoyed with that because there was no advantage.
Exactly. Neil Francis was on the charge down the line, and really advantage should have been played on that occasion. But what about Jonah Lomu? I mean, that's the first opportunity we've seen him, and he bounced men out of his way. He's obviously got to be someone that Ireland have got to keep track on. We've got to stop the ball getting out to that wing.
Well, there he is. JVC GT, really. Goes like a bomb, an even timer, and he's 18 stone. So I think we'll see him in the action as much as possible. Taken by Francis at the back. Now Francis gets his charge up to the halfway line. Oh, Cronfield surely offside. The referee playing advantage to see if there is advantage. Well, he's not going to give a penalty. But it's going to be a scrummage to Ireland. The good news for Ireland is that Jonathan Bell is restored to the rudest of health. He's back in the middle of the field, partnering Brendan Mullen. And there's the Irish front row, half on the far side, and Popplewell on this loose. Scrummage down. Ireland, but again the scrummage has just gone to ground. There he is, Jonathan Bell, back in the seat. Bradley waits. Has he overdone it? Yes, he's overcooked that, and that really was not a good kick from Bradley, because it was a good solid scrummage. He had time to pick his spot, but the line out now opposite where he
Yes, Ireland must be happy with their start so far, Chris. They've got to still try and tie the All Blacks down. They still haven't got the sort of rucking, driving game that they're famous for going. Ireland are trying to spoil all the possession the All Blacks are getting.
They certainly haven't been able to bring in their backs as much as they wanted to. They haven't played it on their own terms. Cronfield got the first touch. That's good controlled ball. Larson holds. Now Joseph looking to come round the side. Now he lays it back for Bishop, but very bad ball. Brewer has to try and go back and clear it. And it's back. But the Irish have it, they do. Elwood spotted a gap behind Lomu. Lomu lumbering back rather slowly. Now he's back inside his 22 and decides that he's passing to Osborne and put his full-back in terrible trouble. And Osborne just had to clear any old where, down to Staples. Counter-attack from Ireland. Back to Elwood. Elwood launches a mighty kick over Merton's head and over the dead ball.
Yes, that's still a fine tactic from Eric Elwood. It means that the 25 must be dropped off, the ball must be kicked back again, giving Ireland a 50-50 opportunity to win that. But previously we saw nearly both sides to Jonah Lomu. We saw a fantastic run, but we also see him in defence. He's certainly not a great force in defence. He's inexperienced in that position, having played a lot as a forward.
And Elwood is exploiting that, and has done so on a few occasions. The deep drop out from Mertens, not forward. Bradley in position there, but there was offside against Arm, came off Bradley to Johns. The referee quite right. But penalty then to the All Blacks. And Mertens, I think, is denoting to the referee that he's going to go for a goal. Now this would be a mighty kick. We know he's striking the ball well, and he does appear to have a little bit of a wind behind him.
Yes, very much so. We saw today Neil Jenkins kick a superb 55-yard penalty down at Bloemfontein, and that's about 3,000 or 4,000 feet lower than it is here. It's very rarefied, and if he catches this, then really I think the people at the back of the stand had better look out, Chris.
Well, it's going to be the biggest kick we've seen of this match by a long, long way. Just about 5 metres inside his own. Hasn't missed so far. He's given it a terrific thump. It's holding up in the air as it carried, not quite. It certainly had the direction, but not quite the elevation. And so Staples clears. But the All Blacks have gained a little bit of ground from that, and they line out in a good position for them. Although it's an area they're struggling with a little bit. Wayne Erickson just making sure that the line out is to his satisfaction. Tap back for Bishop. Mertens runs. Now that's a difficult kick. Underneath it is Staples. He's got a bit of time, has he? He can mark it. Beautiful kick by him. Little was in there so quickly. But well taken and bravely taken by Staples. The temptation there just to take your eye off the ball.
Well, it was a fine take by the fullback. Jim Staples has proved to be one of the he won't shun that sort of kick at all. He's very brave under pressure, any sort of balls like that to him. But Mertens on that occasion getting round the outside of Dennis McBride and putting up quite a high bomb. It's important again for Ireland now that they have been ringing the changes in the practice sessions to try and make sure they outwit as much as anything else the All Blacks. Unfortunately, Staples seem to have some sort of injury, and that will cause concern.
Well, Laurie Mains there, the All Blacks coach, is not the happiest looking individual at the best of times. I suspect even if the All Blacks were 50 points ahead, he'd be looking like that. But he must be a little bit concerned that the All Blacks just haven't been allowed to get into this game. They certainly haven't been able to dominate the game and play it on their own terms. And as we've seen there from Ireland, they are stiff in resolve from stem to stern, and very encouraging, of course, for forwards to have a full-back as safe and secure as that. Now, the problem here is to Jeff Wilson, who I suspect probably damaged his neck in that spectacular dive earlier in the match, and he's receiving treatment at the moment. Meanwhile, play goes on. Play on, says the referee. Ian Jones waits, being taken by Joseph. Just outside the Irish 22, the All Blacks drive forward. Bishop waits, tries to dig it out. The forwards take it on for him, or try to take it on, but that's good spoiling by Ireland. Paddy Jones comes away to Corkery in support. Corkery lays it back now. Ireland trying to work it back for Bradley, who waits. Bradley with the kick over the head of Wilson. No, straight out again on the full, and Bradley just hangs his head in disappointment and despair, really, because that's two good balls he's had.
It's true, but tactically it was the right decision. Jeff Wilson had been receiving treatment on the sideline. There was a gap in there behind him, and Bradley unfortunately just overplayed it.
Yes, tactically the Irish haven't missed a trick this evening so far. Popplewell, behind him Fulcher. This is a grand Irish performance. Taken again, though, by the All Blacks, who are beginning to win a little bit of ball at the line-out. Mertens again testing out Staples, and that's a mighty kick. And underneath it there, Little waits. It's taken, though, by Little, and there was a knock-on. So 2 knock-ons, and that means an All Black ball. They knock on first by Ireland, and then a knock-on by the All Blacks for Little. But this is a very dangerous position now for the All Blacks, beginning to exert control through Mertens. Bishop stands back. Brewer tries to go, but he's well held up by Corkery. Now away comes Kronfeld. Kronfeld charges, 10 metres short. The All Blacks wait for it now. Out it comes again. Now to Lomu. Lomu going for a charge for the line. Can they stop him? No, not this time they can't. And Lomu's over. And this time he was irresistible. And so Jonah Lomu, this 18-stone hulk on the wing, gets the first try for New Zealand.
That is just devastating, Chris, because Richard Wallace had him lined up. He got low and tried to hit him hard, and he was just shoved off to the side. Here we can see it. The ball passed quickly out to Lomu again, and from here he had about 15-20 yards to go. Wallace looked eyeing him up and shoulder in, and just pushed off to the side. That is awesome power from this man, and we must stop him getting the ball again. We're really trying to get up and push up in the midfield backs.
Well, the Irish were determined to try and stop him. As you say, they had their defence apparently well aligned, but really there seems to be little answer to the power of this man. And so Mertens with this kick. New Zealand in the lead for the first time. And Mertens with this conversion too. Again, a promising thud and a very promising finish, and that's another 2 points. Jeff Wilson has gone off, so that's bad news for the All Blacks as Merton comes back having kicked the goal. So Wayne Erickson just checking that the All Blacks have their replacement on the field. I think it's Mark Ellis who's come on. Eric Elwood to Joseph. Joseph taken by Corkery and having to give ground. The All Blacks don't like doing that. But again, Ireland coming over the ball. The replacement, there he is, Mark Ellis, played in a lot of places in the back division. He's played at fly half, he's played in the centre, and now on the wing. Very highly rated as a footballer. Mertens has punished Ireland for that, and Mertens is coming more and more into this game. He's growing in confidence. He's beginning to take the game on at fly half. And there, look at the disparity in penalties, and that tells a story.
Yes, and I think it's quite right at the end of the day. The Irish have been playing with passion, but they've also been given a lot of silly penalties away, particularly on the ground. They must get to stay on their feet when they arrive at the ruck situation.
But this is a tremendous contest. Ireland giving nothing. Palmed back by Fulcher to Elwood. Elwood now running. Bell. Mullen for about the first time. Oh, it's charged down by Bunce. It's going to be a score. It's going to be a score from Frank Bunce, and what a tragedy for Ireland. Oh, it happened when they released the ball for the first time down their back division, and really perhaps that wasn't the occasion to do it, because they were deep in defence. There was nothing really very much on, and the All Blacks predators were there waiting, and Bunce is an arch-taker of chances. You just don't give this man any room, and here they tried with very little on. You see, there was very little left for Mullen to do, and Bunce was in there so quickly, and when he broke that down, there was no defence against it, and that really is a crucial time to lose another try, because Ireland were very much in the game, and with Mertens converting it now, suddenly that lead has stretched to 20 points to 7.
Yes, the passing, I think, on that occasion was maybe somewhat pedestrian. All the players taking a few steps out of it before eventually Brendan Mullen tried to clear. I don't know if they felt they had to do something at that stage. They'd only just gone behind.
But Ireland now come back. Now they've really got to try and open it up. Now here's Bell. Bell, the long pass to Wallace. Lovely play by Wallace. Wallace has left Lomu for dead. Up to the 22, Mullen. Mullen kicks ahead. Was he taken out? The referee waiting to see what happens. Yes, he's given a penalty. Late tackle. And that was a terrific response from Ireland. So positive, they had to do it. And for the first time, we saw their midfield in attack. And here was Bell, the terrific cutout pass to Wallace. And look at that. Lovely sidestep and swerve past Lomu. He left him for dead, and it was there that Mullen was late tackled. So just the response that Ireland wanted. And for the first time, we saw the Irish midfield in meaningful action there. So Mullen taken out of the game, and after the calamity of giving away that try, that'll make him feel better. Now it's going to be Elwood to go for goal, and the right decision at this stage. I think he's got to take every point on offer, but here we see it again. It was Lomu trying to repair the damage of missing Wallace, but he took Mullen just as Mullen had kicked the ball.
Yes, again, the Irish in training have looked good, have swift hands amongst the backs, and amongst the season they did sort of make an early commitment to an expansive game. Here as well, of mobile two back row forwards in Corkery and McBride, both really open sides who can move quickly and support their backs. They must hope to get sure, swift passing out to the wings with support from the backs.
So as Elwood prepares to take this kick, Jim Staples has gone off to be replaced by Morris Field, and I suspect then that Jonathan Bell may well go back to the full-back position. But let's just wait and see what Elwood can do with this kick. Oh, and he's pulled it across the face of the goal, and really just within the last few minutes, the game beginning to slip away from Ireland. They've done so well for the opening half hour and more, and we're so close now to half-time, just 4 minutes remaining. And the game has switched dramatically now in favour of the All Blacks. The drop-out taken by Paddy Johns. Johns holds, lays it back for Bradley. Bradley to Elwood, inside his own half. The kick for Joseph. Joseph waits, can't control it. Cronfield in to try and get it back, but it comes back on the Irish side. Now the pass from Mullen to Gagan. They want to get Gagan into the action. Bell is there at his shoulder. Bell stays up on his feet well, waiting for his forwards. His forwards in now. But the All Blacks are there too in numbers. And the referee deciding that Ireland can't use it, and so they lose it. And there's the replacement on again. He was on earlier, Morris Field, for Jonathan Bell. Jonathan Bell's now back, but Jim Staples, who took a knock, bravely fielding that the high ball earlier, has gone off. And Jonathan Bell has gone back to full-back, which means that Field partners Mullen in the centre.
It's an important time now for Ireland's captain Terry Kingston. Really sees things starting to slip away from him. Ireland must really control the game now, take some more first phase possession and spoil anything that the All Blacks get.
Again, a good solid scrummage, and Mertens, well, he wanted to aim that further away from Bell, but Bell's positional play was sound, and a good kick and touch find there from Bell outside his 22. He had nothing on, but there was a little gap there that he found.
Yes, I think Mertens was wanting to test Bell. Bell moving back from the centre to full-back for the first time, but really Bell's a real utility back. He can play in the centre, he's played internationals on the wing, and he's very competent for his province Ulster at full-back.
So the line out just inside the All Blacks half, and Sean Fitzpatrick, the Irish captain, a happier man now than he was. There's Brewer, behind him Joseph. The ball back for Bashop to Mertens. Mertens the last of Bunce, and away now comes Ellis up to the halfway line. Now Larson holds, but he's rocked back by Corkery. Mertens kicking for Lomu, and across there is Bell, but they're all beaten him to touch. That again was a fine left-footed kick though by Mertens. He's showing a lot of skill at fly half.
They're starting to find a lot more rhythm now, aren't they, Chris? Their line-out play is much more assured. All the gaps in the line-outs are being blocked now, and Ireland are finding it much more difficult with that long pass from Bashop to actually try and spoil the All Blacks' possession.
So Kingston with the throw. Paddy Johns has done well at the back of the line-out. Also plays, of course, as a lock. Kingston throws. Up there goes Francis. Takes it two-handed. The Irish forwards come in, laid back for Bradley. Elwood again composed, but doesn't find touch this time. Just the odd error now creeping into the Irish play. Away comes Lamu. Lamu stretches those legs. This is awesome. The man is almost unstoppable. He seems so gauche in his running, but it works. It's come back though for Francis. Francis not sure quite what to do with it and gives ground. Away comes Popplewell. Popplewell doing a Lamu of his own in a green jersey. Back for Bradley. Elwood to Mullen. Oh, beautifully taken by Gagan. Gagan up over the halfway line. He's got support from Bell. Bell has Bradley. Oh, he didn't see him, but he's still going. Bell now. Bradley. Can Bradley get to the line? He's taken in a magnificent tackle. Just shot of the line, but Ireland have scored. I don't think it's a score. I think the referee... I'm not sure whether the referee is awarded a score or not.
Dennis McBride down injured obviously after that run. It was a fine move from Ireland, and still it seems unclear, the All Blacks grouping behind their line, whether or not Dennis McBride has in fact scored a try. But it was great movement from Ireland. They have a lot of pace in their backs. Here moving it out to Simon Gagan. He has been dead keen to get involved in this match. Giving it out to Jonathan Bales, a lot of pace, but didn't realise Bradley was inside. Bradley shouting madly for it. Bradley still had a lot to do there, but he'd slowed up. He hadn't the same pace and momentum. At that stage the ball was coming back, and quickly supported by the Irish forwards and dived over by Dennis McBride.
Well, we must imagine that the try has been given. The Irish forwards are going, the Irish team going back, and Elwood is coming in. We'll see maybe better from this angle. There was the lovely dart by Gagan. Now at this point Bell had Bradley inside him screaming, but Bell got away, and it was Bradley then who was brought down by Bunce's tackle. The ball laid back, and it was McBride over, and there was no doubt about it from this angle, absolutely no doubt. He got the touchdown. I thought perhaps that McBride had lost control of it. He hadn't, and the try has been given.
It's both Dennis McBride and David Corkery are making a big impression in this match. There's McBride, considered small, like Neil Back of England, for an international wing forward, but he's got probably the fittest man on the Irish team. David Corkery beside him, also often considered an open side, but together they're making a great combination. Corkery is big and strong. He's making big tackles and big hits, and McBride will chase everything.
So Ireland have scored at just the right time. There's never a wrong time to score, of course, but this was the time to do it, because they were beginning to look as if the game was slipping out of their grasp. But now Elwood has this conversion to bring Ireland right back into the match. Has he got it? No, it was just off, just missed, and so that's the half-time whistle. But Ireland back in this match. They cut the lead to 20 points to 12, and it's been quite a superb opening half. 20 points to 12, New Zealand lead. The second half just got underway, and the All Blacks up inside the Irish 22. So we'll see if there's any change in pattern to the All Blacks play. They certainly haven't been able to ruck the ball as they would have wished. They haven't played really on their own terms, because Ireland have never let them out of their sight. There's the advantage to the All Blacks in the line-out. Some of that hasn't been very good ball, though. And Francis and Fulcher there have kept their end up very well, but this time Fulcher was being lifted. Now then, this is where the All Blacks are so dangerous. They've worked out a series of moves, and they're so hard to hold in these situations. Inside the Irish 22. Looking for an early score just to settle them, because Ireland are not out of sight by any means. Again, Bashop comes into midfield, the long pass to Lomu. Now it's inside to Kronfeld. Kronfeld to Lomu. Lomu going over the corner again for his second try, and that is just the start that the Irish wanted, and really they were found wanting there. Just the start that New Zealand wanted, and it's this man Lomu. He is proving almost unstoppable on the wing, but he had plenty of room there. And here it was, the short penalty move that they've tried very successfully. The long pass to Bunce. Bunce looking for support from Cronfield. Cronfield got it, and there was Lamu loitering on the outside. And the try.
With Merton's boot, you'd think they'd maybe try to hit the odd drop goal from there, but they did try to run it. And in fact, Richard Wallace was pushing up very close on Lomo. That gave Lomo the outside edge, and obviously he's got so much power and speed. Dennis McBride not able to stop him.
So Mertens from a tight angle with this conversion attempt. 25-12 now, the All Blacks. No, I don't know if he got the perfect contact there, and that's just drifted off wide, but it was certainly the start that the All Blacks were looking for. They wanted to reimpose themselves on this match, and here we see Lomu really without any hindrance at all and unmarked going over for his second try of the match. So Elwood restarts. Fitzpatrick tries to gather it in. Knock forward. And a scrummage to Ireland. So they came back before. They've been there and they've come back. And we'll see if they can do it again. Wayne Eriksson, they're not happy with the scrummage. He's just waiting. He wants to make sure that the players crouch before going into this. His front rows are not going to cooperate with him. Come back, he says, back to the mark, and he's not going to have any nonsense. Wait for it, he says, now they go. And the All Blacks, look how low they're packing, and they get underneath them, but Paddy Johns comes away with it to Corkery. Corkery brought down in midfield, laying it back. Bradley is in there, and there's no scrum half. Ireland need one. They get it now from Johns, acting as the scrum half, but he's hauled in, reeled in by the All Blacks, trying to pilfer possession, and they may have done it. They've certainly won a scrum.
Yes, the gauntlet's certainly been thrown down to the Irish now, and scrummage now fairly even. Ireland trying the back row move. It looked successful, and Corkery got the break, but the Irish forwards then slow to support.
So this scrummage won by Ireland. Basham, Mertens. And Mertens rather off the side of his boot, but it worked well enough for him, because I'm not sure that he got the perfect contact there, but this young man, what a future he has ahead of him. 22 years of age. And he's looked a very cool and composed performer. Kingston, that's Corkery, and behind him Neil Francis. We need a huge effort from these men now. The ball goes up there, but only so far as Brewer to Basham. Basham down the short side. Bringing in Ellis. Away comes Fitzpatrick on that far side now. The All Blacks uncharacteristically have given away possession. That's not a good kick. Straight to Glenn Osborne. Osborne finds a gap. He's a blistering runner. If he gets the room, he's got the room. He's still going. Osborne has Lamu loping up outside him. Lays it back now for Lamu. But such dangerous running from Glenn Osborne. You can't give this man an inch.
Glenn Osborne has a reputation as a counter-attacking fullback, but again there he was given room because Lomo was lurking on the outside all the time. Richard Wallace didn't take his eyes off Lomo, and that gave the opportunity for Osborne to run and run until the cover came across to tackle him.
So Fitzpatrick to the line out, and the All Blacks looking increasingly dominant now, and this was a little bit ominous for Ireland as Maurice Field on as a replacement for Jim Staples. Up there goes Joseph, gets it back to Basham, and here's Lomu now in the fly half position. This man still on his feet. Jones almost got in there. Popplewell comes away with it on the counter. He's shown up so often in the loose and important positions. Bradley with the kick, and that's a good touch from Bradley. That's what they needed, the Irish forwards, to take them upfield and to relieve the danger.
Fine kick from Michael Bradley. He is so tactically aware. Again, with Lomo having been in the outside half position, that ball came back quickly to the Irish, and he pushed it back down to Lomo's wing, who wasn't there. I thought he maybe got a little more distance than that.
Well, I think we can expect to see the All Blacks bringing Lomo in now at almost every opportunity. He almost looks surprised every time he gets the ball. And he certainly makes the most of it. Now taken by Corkery, but jumping off the shoulder, and it was Francis who was penalised there. And Fitzpatrick has no question that Mertens will go for goal. They have a comfortable lead, but 25 points to 12. They want to increase that as much as possible.
Yep, the contest in the line-out is going to be a crucial one. We really need our jumpers, Butcher, Francis and Jones, to get up. Undoubtedly, Neil Francis there leaned on his opposite number, giving the penalty away. And really, it's these areas we're giving too many penalties, making too many mistakes, giving too many opportunities for the All Blacks to actually have scoring chances. This is undoubtedly another effort which would likely to put the score to 28 to 12. That's really an uphill battle for Ireland, and they must now concentrate on the basics, contest the ball without giving penalties.
Mertens then eyes up the target for the last time. That's a lovely kick. He's got a lovely action, this man. And another 3 points, and that now has increased the lead to 28-12. And we've only had 9 minutes of this second half play.
Yes, and the line-out's going to be very crucial from now on from Ireland's point of view, because it's ominous. It's not flapping back from New Zealand, it's two-handed catching, and that's where their quality possession is going to come from in the second half.
Elwood drops out. Joseph, as he so often is the man targeted. Back from Bishop to Mertens. And Mertens once again finds a good touch and takes us forwards those precious metres upfield. Difficult to know what Kingston can do now to ring the changes, but they've got to try and win possession, clean possession here at this line-out. Well, they win it, but it's not clean, and Brewer is through to spoil. Lays it back for Joseph. They're knocked forward, so it's a scrummage down. 15 metres. So what can Ireland try from here? They've certainly shown they're going to be adventurous. But scrummage, wheeling round beyond the 90 degrees. This time they have it, but it's spoilt by Bishop. And away comes Bishop, trying to link up with Ellis. It will be a line out again to Ireland, but Bishop quickly in there. He's had a great return to form, this Canterbury halfback.
The Irish scrum, they're under a lot of pressure. New Zealand seem to be putting the ball in, or pushing before the ball actually comes.
Elwood finding a gap, but really not the man to find it to is Osborne. He's countered again. He's round Wallace. He's got support inside from Little. The ball bounces off Little's shoulder, but Osborne's still in there, but it had gone forward, and that was a chance lost, uncharacteristically by Little. Very safe pair of hands usually, but once again Osborne is the danger man, countering from fullback. You can't give this man any space. Elwood will have to watch where he puts the ball, and that there is where it all went wrong. But the support was there in numbers. That could have been very dangerous for Ireland.
Yes, it's most unusual to see an All Blacks knock the ball forward, but wasn't it a superb run down the wing? And again, you see players running off the ball. You had Little inside and further All Blacks lining up to take the ball, and it really is looking ominous for Ireland at this moment. And you just wonder, Nigel, whether Irish passion will be able to carry them through to the end of the game.
When I saw those faces at the start, you know, Clive, I mean, there was such determination in the eyes of those players as the anthems were played. This would be a very concerning injury, though, to Gary Halpin. We are under pressure in the scrums. They're tending to have the edge all the time. They're edging us forward, even before we put the ball in. Now we really have to try and get the ball in quickly and away, but if Gary Halpin is injured, then it would mean that Paul Wallace would take the field, an uncapped player against an awesome All Black scrum.
We hear the news, and it's not good, from the Irish changing room, that Staples has broken a bone in his right hand, so that will probably be the end of his World Cup, and that's desperate news for him, because he was looking so secure and safe and courageous behind the Irish forwards, but it looks as if it'll be the end of his term. So the penalty now for Elwood, and he's found a good touch, and of course the ability of the All Blacks to counter from all parts of the field means that there's an extra onus on Eric Elwood to position his kicks to perfection. The Irish have cut their line, taken by Johns at the back. Now Brad to Mullen. Mullen kicking for Gagan. They want to bring him in as much as the All Blacks do Lomo.
Yes, the Irish ringing the changes there, a two-man line-out. They had some variations, although they weren't working particularly effectively. They brought Paddy Johns up and had two jumpers in the front and moving Neil Francis back. But they must start bringing in more line-out variations, trying to outwit the All Blacks so that they don't have an opportunity to play the sort of percentage game they're best at.
Nathan Jones, one of the world's finest line-out exponents. Nervous around the field too. Up there he goes. Takes two-handed. The All Blacks drive. This is the controlled play they like. It's not so controlled though. Difficult ball for Bishop. Kronfeld tries to come back. So does Fitzpatrick, but the Irish are in there scragging, trying to work the ball back. Bradley can't get at the ball for All Blacks, and Kronfeld surely is offside there, but the referee saying play on. Bishop back to Mertens. And Mertens finds another good touch. So the Irish are keeping the pressure on, but they must get points now. 28 points to 12 behind. There's an injury to Gabriel Fulcher, I think it is. Now he's taking his place now in the line-out. He's all right. So the Irish wait for him to come back. And the referee waits now to see if there's a gap between the line-out, but there surely is. I don't know what the delay is. Kingston now prepares to play. It comes back to Elwood. Elwood to Field. Field doing a Lomo of his own. Not a good pass for Kingston, but the All Blacks going down on the ball, refusing to release it, so it's a penalty to Ireland, and Elwood being called out, and presumably try to go for goal from here.
Yes, Eric Elwood had looked so composed in practice and kicking, although he's missed a couple that he might otherwise expect to have got. And really some of the sort of ball that Irish want to get is that quick loose ball that we saw there before. There was an opportunity for them previously whenever Bradley was caught in and they missed out there. But when they drive onto it best, when the ball is loose and bubbling up to the All Blacks forwards and Irish are driving through onto it, that is the type of ball they want to give. They want to try and spoil a little bit more in the lineouts.
So Elwood with this straight penalty. It's far from straightforward because it's a good way out, but it's straight in front of the posts. And Van feels he must really get this if Ireland are going to get back into the game. Well, he's lifted it high, but not straight. And a little looked as if he might be trying to run out from there, but there's nothing courageous going to be tried at this stage, or reckless by the All Blacks. So Mertens making sure that his forwards are right behind him, and he kicks deep but very high for Bradley. Bradley has Lomu and Jones in front of him, manages to get through both and up over the halfway line. Away now comes Fulcher. It's Francis, in fact, lays it back to Elwood. Elwood to Mullen. Mullen to Gagan. Gagan up to the 10-metre line. Can't get round Ellis. but he tries. His opportunities have been very restricted.
Yes, he's had very little room to work out in that wing, and he's such an exciting prospect when he does. Again, I would think if Ireland can move that wee ball, the ball that wee bit quicker out to him, both he and Wallace has showed in the first half that the beating of Lomo on the outside. Now, obviously, an injury there to Sean Fitzpatrick, who will probably have to leave the field.
Which will bring Stormin Norm Hewitt on, and the All Blacks fans will love that because he's a hugely popular character. So as the captain goes off, Hewitt comes on, and it'll be Hewitt's first cap. So it's an important and very popular decision, this, as far as the All Black supporters are concerned. And right away into the action, Hewitt with this throw-in. He's been a bench reserve 11 times. Back for Basham, 2 Mertens. Little in the inside centre position, finding room. Bell having to come across, but that's a terrible ball for Bell, and he's taken by Lomu and taken by Bunce, and the ball comes back for Lomu. Tronfeld is in there. Now the All Blacks are in there in numbers. They can work it back because Ireland are very threadbare out wide. Mertens, he kicks when really he should have passed, but it's still the awkward ball, and it's taken by Mark Ellis. Mark Ellis held up just short of the line. The Irish forwards are back there in numbers. They did well to get back and try and save the position, and Bradley has managed to find touch and scrape the ball away, but there were 2 cruel bounces there for the Irish. First for Bell and then for Gagan, and really the luck is not going their way at the moment. So a line out just outside the Irish 22. Severe pressure now being brought to bear on them. Hewitt throws to the back. Up there goes Joseph, taken by McBride, but it comes back for the All Blacks. Brewer carries it on. Up forward. Scrummage down, and it's Ireland's ball. Bradley now to Elwood. Elwood only to Glenn Osborne. He can't afford to give this man room. We've seen his danger trying to get through Gagan. Doesn't succeed, but the All Blacks still have the ball. Bishop waits. Now to Mertens. Not a good pass to Little, but Little clears it only as far as Lomu. Lomu manages to get down the ground. He looks almost lackadaisical at times, but he's still going. He's so hard to trap. And it takes about 5 Irishmen to bring him down.
Yes, I thought you were rather polite in the first half, Chris, when you just referred to him as huge. I could think of a lot of things that I could call this man on the wing, basically. At 18 stone and an even timer, he's really a deadly moving house.
The scrummage down in midfield and just on the halfway line. Johns. Bradley to Bell. Bell come in quickly from the full-back position, but gives it to Mertens. Mertens, though, can't control it. It's on the 10-metre line now for Ireland. Bradley trying to find space for Wallace, but Wallace is confronted by the massed ranks of the All Blacks defence, and it's Osborne who has the chance to clear. Not to touch, though, only to Elwood. What's Elwood going to do? He sees a space on that far side, but across went Mertens quickly, but that was a lovely kick. Now that was better placement from Eric Elwood.
Yes, Eric Elwood, I'm sure when he looks back at this game, will be somewhat disappointed with the accuracy of some of his kicks, but that was inch perfect. He didn't know what to do in the middle of the pitch and spied a gap on the far side and pushed it through to give Ireland the line out just in the 22.
So what can they do from this? We're into the final quarter now. 28 points to 12, the All Blacks lead. It's the All Blacks ball. Mertens, lovely piece of cool play, but offside against David Corkery. Even so, Mertens is displaying touches of real class and maturity at fly. that's not a bad kick. He's not putting a foot wrong at the moment, and it could well be that after a long search, that search is over as the successor to Grant Fox, because he's looked thoroughly impressive. The All Blacks cut their line. Up there goes Jones. Beautifully controlled ball. Bishop now out to Mertens for the drop goal, but he's wide. But everything he's trying at the moment is coming off or almost for him, so why not have a go at that? Full of confidence. Now Dennis McBride, is he going to take the drop out? No, back to Elwood. Good-looking kick for his forwards, and France is loitering with intent, but not forward, so it'll be a scrummage down to Ireland. And just a little bit of the fizz gone out of the play at the moment from both sides, but Ireland must try and get it back. And that's not a good kick from Elwood. Well, it might bounce well for him, but it was only so far as Mark Ellis. And Ellis, although he had Osborne waiting inside with a better angle, went for the kick down to Bell. Bell has plenty of time. In the full-back position for Jim Staples, who we fear may take no further part in the tournament because he's broken a bone in his right hand. So Fitzpatrick back on the field now for Hewitt. His temporary replacement, palmed back by Larson. Mertens too little on the burst. Tronfeld is in there with him. Bishop again. Mertens, there's not much on for him down that short side, and the kick is too much. Into touch on the full.
Both sides, Chris, making uncharacteristic errors. We can see in the line out how the forwards are gasping for breath there, mouths wide open, but the passing in the backs is often not going to hand, and some of the kicks as well are going a little bit too long. I think that by this stage in the match, altitude is probably starting to affect some of these players who maybe have not had sufficient time to adjust to the 6,000 feet level that we're at the moment.
Certainly both sides looking a little bit lackadaisical. Taken by Johns in the middle. Now Field back inside, Corkery up to the halfway line. Better play by Ireland. And the referee running out of patience with the All Blacks who'd come over the top there, refusing to allow the Irish to release, and it was Tronfeld who was held responsible for that. Tronfeld there with the black headgear, which has become part of his trademark. He played against the Lions in 1993 for Otago and gave a stunning performance that day. Elwood then. And that's a fine touch. Now then, what can Ireland do from here? There's Laurie Mains with that same expression. And he'll be reasonably satisfied. So that's the All Blacks line. The Irish don't have far to go. They've got a lot in their way though.
This is an important line out, Chris. Ireland really need to try and get back into the game with the minutes ticking away. They've moved Paddy Johns right to the tail of the line. It's perhaps a throw going to him.
Well, opposite him is Joseph, but in fact it goes to the front. And difficult ball for Bradley. There's no scrum half at the moment. Now Terry Kingston has moved into the scrum half position, and Paddy Johns. The Irish mauling for it down the side. And now it's Corkery. Corkery takes the ball a little bit further, and away now comes Francis, but the whistle has gone. It's not going to be allowed.
I think the referee's given the ball possibly as being thrown forward there in the tackle. David Corkery unfortunately going to ground and throwing the ball forward to Francis.
So the scrummage to the All Blacks. Wayne Eriksson not at all happy with the front rows. And certainly the All Blacks have been taking that scrummage very low. Kingston calling for a big effort here. But it's the All Blacks put in. Held, that's a good scrummage. Giving Bishop plenty time to clear, which he does. And that was a very well controlled scrummage from the All Blacks when they needed it most. And some very, very tired individuals and limbs out there at the moment. Kingston with the throw. And New Zealand have had the better of this area, and that mainly through that man Jones. The cut-out pass to Lomo again. Lomo, oh, he's just away again, and he's up. He's just got Bell in front of him. He's still going. Oh, he's gone for another tackle. This is sensational running. He's still going, Lomo. He passes to Cronfeld, and Cronfeld has scored the most amazing try. That is sensational running. And you've got to say that the tackling didn't appear to be all that grand, but really this man seems to be unstoppable. Cronfeld the try scorer, but there was no doubt about the try maker. Two long passes. That was the first cut-out one, and it went all the way to Lomo. And look at him, just towering past. Then Bell seemed to be in good position, and then across came Morrisfield, then came Gagan, and there was the pass up to Cronfield, and Wallace had come across, but it was too late. That is sensational running.
It's absolutely superb when he gets the ball. I mean, every man there lined him up, got ready. I was sure he was going to take him. Eventually it was Gagan who made the tackle, but it was too late. Fine support from Cronfeld.
Well, it's like a shooting gallery, but they keep missing this man. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that in all my years of being involved in this game. So Mertens, as we're all trying to catch our breath from that. Cooley now trying to add the goal points, but he hasn't managed it. But really, that was quite the most sensational moment of the tournament so far. And it all came from Jonah Lomu. 18 stone, can do even time. And here was first Bell, then Field, then Gagan, and then the pass to Cronfield for one of the most sensational tries, which also fittingly happened to be the 50th of this tournament. Now the All Blacks very much in control. It's Gagan. Takes a high ball. But the All Blacks have it. This is dangerous if they can release it quickly. Wayne Eriksson deciding that the ball wasn't going to come out of there, and that Simon Gagan had made no attempt to clear off the ball. Poor Simon Gagan looks as if he's been pulled through a hedge backwards. Not very much he could have done. And there's an intervention from the touch judge, George Gadjevic.
I'm not sure, I'm sure Simon Gagan, certainly after the first boot or the second boot came in, was trying to get away from that ball. Often in those sort of situations, it's very difficult to move away to the side. And I think there was some over-vigorous rucking, something that we're going to try and clamp down on in this World Cup. Simon Gagan, the victim, I think, possibly the innocent victim of that.
Well, whatever it is, he's... The referee has decided not to change any decision and keep things as they are. So it'll be a penalty. There was certainly quite a bit of raking going on there, but the referee judging that it was up to the Irish to get out of the way. There's really not very much, perhaps, as you were saying, Nigel, they could have done.
No, rucking now is supposed to be only if you're trying to get to the ball, and I think Simon Gagan would be attempting to move away from that.
Well, I think if he had any sense at all, which he does, he's a very intelligent man, he wouldn't want to be staying in there with the All Blacks' feet flailing around. But at the moment, Andrew Merton's just waiting for the tee to come on. He's going to go for another shot at goal, despite this massive lead now, 33 points to 12, and we're into the final 10 minutes. So Merton's lining up, and the loyal travelling support which goes all over the world with the All Blacks. And accustomed to seeing them in this sort of form. They'd come really as fourth or even fifth favourites, which infuriated them. And I think anyone who sees them tonight will reverse that. There's the penalty attempt from Mertens. It's a huge one, it's a good one, and it's stretched the All Blacks lead now 36 points to 12. And New Zealand certainly home and dry as far as this match is concerned. But Ireland must just hold their nerve and try and prevent this from becoming a real rout. Up there goes Joseph. And the ball being worked back. Joseph comes away with it again. Support from Dowd. In there is Larsson. Now away with it comes Bashop, but Bashop is taken. He's got it this time. Popplewell, but it's untidy stuff, not forward.
The match has almost certainly at this stage slipped away with only about 7 minutes of normal time remaining, but it's still important for Ireland to put in a good performance, to keep challenging right to the end. It's important that they put down the challenge to the other teams in their group and show a good performance against the favourites for this group, and one of the favourites for the World Cup, New Zealand.
Well, it all started so encouragingly for Ireland, but here they go again through Mullen. Mullen trying to link up with Gagan, but he finds Francis instead. Francis ploughs on, he's taken down. There are some tired Irishmen though, lumbering across there. Now away comes Morris Field, looking for a gap close to the forwards. Taken by Bunce. Bunce support from Osborne. Osborne deciding not to run with it, but he's found a gap. Bell having to chase across, and that's a very, very fine kick by Osborne. And really, this is a very impressive looking full-back. There really is no area it's safe to hide from with these All Blacks, because they appear to be able to attack from all areas of the field now, with Lomu and with Osborne, and fly half with Mertens, because Mertens can run a bit. Fulcher at the moment is receiving treatment. That's why there's a delay for this line out, and Fulcher has been looking a little bit distressed recently.
Yes, and it's not normal for play to be stopped during injury, especially where it's not interfering, but obviously this is a key line-out man for Ireland, and therefore the referee has decided to actually stop play for injury cover. But the rest of the teams in this group, Chris, must be looking with awe basically at this New Zealand side, particularly John Alumu on the wing there. I'm sure that Ian Evans in the Welsh hotel at Bloemfontein must be thinking hard how he's actually going to stop this man. But not only Ian, I think other teams that they're going to meet along the way will be wondering how they're actually going to stop this key player in the New Zealand side, and they varied the use of him tonight. They put him at outside half, they put him on the wing as well. How are you going to stop him? Just look at the size of that man, 18 stone of New Zealand beef.
Well, he's certainly been charging his way through the Irish this evening. Kingston then with the throw. And the Irish planning, I think, to throw over the back. That's already been telegraphed. Paddy Johns running up in anticipation. Back there goes Joseph, but the Irish come away through Corkery and Johns. Now to Elwood. Elwood racing past Fitzpatrick, kicking into space. Across comes Glenn Osborne before Richard Wallace can get him. But good play by Elwood, and sprinted past Fitzpatrick.
Yes, but there was a penalty there for obstruction on Elwood after he kicked the ball, Chris.
So the Irish deciding there's nothing to be gained by going for a goal. They're going to run it. They must try and get as many points on the board as they can. Elwood linking up with Popplewell. Popplewell makes good ground up over the 22. Elwood again. Mullen cutting inside only so far as Bashop. Francis upended. And now away comes Bradley. Elwood. Field, there's a chance for Corkery, cuts inside Joseph, and a grand try from Corkery. Oh, he enjoyed that, and that was good play by Ireland. They deserve it. And at last, something for the Irish to cheer. It was no more than they deserved. They've shown adventure on many occasions this evening, and it hasn't really been rewarded. But good play by Bradley. He saw the room on the outside. Quick hands by Elwood, with Field making the extra man, and Corkery very quickly seeing that Joseph had overstretched himself, and he was over for the try.
Yes, on that occasion, it was the run from Popperwell basically that set it up right at the start. He drove into the heart of the New Zealand defence. Then they decided to come back inside, and despite a huge tackle by New Zealand, they managed to win it back. Now, the crucial area were both by Bradley and by Elwood. Look at the hands there, and it leaves Corkery the option to actually come back in. And there are not many teams at international level who score 3 tries against New Zealand.
But on the scoreboard, they're a long, long way back. So Elwood, not been his best of kicking nights, but he's played very well otherwise. That's a good one. He's got that one absolutely straight, didn't deviate an inch. And now the Irish have something to cheer about, and it's no more than they deserve. Fine play there by them. Here we can see it again. And Elwood so quick with his hands to Field, and then Corkery just spotting that Joseph had come across too far, as had Bunce. He was over. So the new man on is Schuller, Kevin Schuller, for Brewer, who's gone off. And it's pretty well the tale of Brewer's rugby career. He's had a career bedeviled by injury. 36-19, the All Blacks lead. Francis there, who made one of the initial breaches in the lead up to the try. And Francis again taps back. That's awkward ball though for Bradley to clear up. Elwood, but safe from Elwood. So the closing stages now. Ireland are down, but they certainly haven't been disgraced. They've given everything. But this is a very awesome looking All Black side. Larson, now they go again. Mertens doing the switch with Lomu. They had to bring him in. He's still there. Now it's Joseph. Mertens quickly to Ellis. Ellis has Osborne outside him, but cuts inside, looking for support inside, which he gets. Kronfeld is there. The All Blacks taking it on. This is classic All Black play. They lay it back for Bishop. Mertens, the cut-out pass to Bunce. Bunce comes away. He's got Lomu outside him, but Lomu had actually come inside. But it's still going now. The All Blacks are still in possession. They lay it back. But can't quite get it back.
Overcomplication at the end there. Lamu didn't really know which way to run, and literally ran out of room totally.
So scrummage down. Good controlled play. Bishop running into midfield. Oh, again with lovely play to Schuller. This time it's Osborne. Osborne has a lot of defenders in front of him, and he's taken down, but the All Blacks are quickly back in retreat, but the whistle had gone. It's a penalty, offside against the Irish. Now what have they got up their sleeves this time? Bishop. The pass to Osborne. Osborne surely is through. It's Osborne for the try. And it was easy enough, but it was, again, quick thinking from Bishop. He saw that the Irish defence was pretty threadbare out on that right-hand side. And it was Osborne with the try. He had 2 tries in his first international against Canada. And to that, he's added another one tonight. And he's run with great power and penetration.
Yes, they've been very impressive, Chris, haven't they? I mean, they've given a warning to all the sides in this World Cup that New Zealand intend regaining the cup that they actually won in 1987. They've got strength throughout their team, and Osborne really is going to be very penetrative from the back.
So Merton with the kick, the sort of stabbing action which works well for him. And the final whistle has gone. That was the final act of the match. The All Blacks, the winners, very comfortable winners by 43 points to 9, posting a very early indication of just how dangerous they're going to be, and particularly this man, Jonah Lomu. He was really unstoppable, quite magical. He scored the 2 tries, and he's going to be the sensation of the tournament. The All Blacks, the winners, 43-19.